Okay, so this is the moment that you have been waiting for. And by the way, our lines are almost nearly full now with members. So I want to thank everyone for being here and being part of this historical moment for us as we unveil this astonishing new benefit of the X39. This is something that was uncovered at the completion of one of our clinical studies, and we're going to reveal this one benefit that we saw come out of the study. We didn't want to wait because it was too exciting, and here it is now. The X39 has been discovered to produce something that we are going to call youth mimetics, or the appearance of youth. And this is going to require some explanation so you can understand the impact of this, and the impact of it is absolutely massive. So let's get into it. In a clinical study that we just completed, which had 45 people, this was shown to statistical significance that in only 6 weeks of using the X39, the age of the vascular system gave the appearance of having been reversed by an astonishing 2 years. So in other words, just short-term use of the X39, only a 6-week period of time, the age of the cardiovascular system was functioning as if the age of the cardiovascular system had been reversed by 2 years. And we're being very careful about the way that we're wording this. We're not making the claim that we reverse the age of the cardiovascular system, because that would be a medical claim. So what we're saying is that it gave the appearance of having been reversed 2 years. So in other words, the cardiovascular system performed as if it had become 2 years younger. And this is only after 6 weeks of using it. Now, how did we measure this? This study was performed by Dr. Thornton Streeter, and we're only going to cover some of the basics of this, but one of the pieces of equipment that we used was a Multiscan Pro. And this is a full body assessment where we collect all sorts of data about the heart, the pulse, the temperature, bioelectrical readings of all the organs in the body, obviously the cardiovascular systems. And what we did was look at baseline data. So we took measurements of people before applying the patch, and then we monitored people over a 6-week period of time to see how were they responding week to week with the use of the X39 product. Now this is very, very thorough, multiple bioelectrical readings. And because we're taking in so much data, the system allows us to take a wellness score. In other words, after looking at the health of the heart, the kidneys, the brain, what's the overall wellness of the body? There's also going to be an assessment of the age of the cardiovascular system, because this is obviously important. One of the #1 killers is heart disease, and we want to know how healthy is the heart. Now, this is actually from data that was gathered from the clinical study, and this is a chart that was generated as a result. And effectively, this is very interesting because what it showed is that after 3 weeks of using X39, there was a minor improvement. I don't think we would have hit statistical significance on this actually. But then through continued use of X39, you can see a tipping point is reached after 3 weeks where now the body improves significantly in health. And this is important to notice because what we've seen in our short-term studies is that the day you start wearing X39, changes start to occur. So energy improves, sleep improves. We know through practical experience within about the first 2 to 3 weeks, we see wound healing. But now this is going one level deeper. What happens after the first few weeks of using X39? We can see now through continued use, the effects are dramatic. So you'll get results absolutely from using X39 the first month, but continue using it because the results continue to get better. Now let's talk about this appearance of age reversal. What does this all mean? Well, the vascular age, or the health of our arteries, it's the apparent age of the blood vessels. So you could be, let's say, 60 years old and be a young 60-year-old, or you could be an old 60-year-old. Okay, we're all going to age at different rates. So basically, the system is able to take a look at the heart rate and the heartbeat and how blood moves through the arteries. So essentially, by measuring this, it's known that the stiffer the arteries, the faster a wave will travel. So by taking data off of thousands of people, you can calculate a true biological age. So measuring the speed of how a wave of blood moves through the arteries is going to give us an idea of how stiff or how flexible the arteries are. And then that data is converted into vascular age. This is similar, by the way, to how telomere testing is done. You take a large group of people, thousands of people, and you look at the lengths of their telomeres, and then you can know biologically what's their real age. So we can do the same thing now with the arteries. Based on the speed at which blood moves through the arteries, we can calculate how old a person is. And this also, by the way, gives a pretty good idea if someone is at risk for cardiovascular disease. So in other words, if blood is moving through there more slowly through the arteries, and the arteries are more flexible, it puts you at lower risk for cardiovascular disease. So for example, if your real biological age is 45, but yet when you test on the system, it shows that the arteries are 54 years old, this is telling you that you're older. Your heart and your arteries are older than your biological age. So this could make you more susceptible to cardiovascular disease. And of course, this data gives you an opportunity to look at what you're doing with your diet, with your exercise. And of course, now we're finding the patches will help. So if that was the case, again, you'd be at a higher risk for developing cardiovascular disease just based on that, as opposed to just looking at your true age instead. So the reduction in the vascular age by 2 years is an excellent indicator of how X39 potentially reduces cardiovascular risk factors. And again, this is only after 6 weeks, which is really remarkable. There's currently nothing available in medical science that will provide a result like this. So this is why we got so excited about it, because it's a indication of something that we've been talking about, youth renewal, and of course, our ultimate goal, which is age reversal.